Welcome to the Ask Dr. Deanna show. I'm Dr. Deanna Holdren, your host. Join me weekly as I cover various health-related lifestyle medicine topics that you get to request. This show is for anyone who wants to proactively improve their health position. I hope you enjoy the show. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Ask Dr. Deanna podcast. I'm excited to be with you guys again today and just to share a little bit of information about things that might be derailing you in your health journey. I like to refer to these as some of the giants in our diet. I actually heard somebody talking recently, and they were talking about overcoming the giants in our life. And they were really talking, more about other things that happen. Could be, issues at work, issues within your family, maybe issues within your marriage or relationship or whatever, and just overcoming those giants and how important that is. They actually talked about, the Bible story that you hear about David and Goliath, which was a very small man and a very large giant. And I think that sometimes when we look at diet and what we're eating, the foods that we're eating, trying to make changes, sometimes it can feel pretty overwhelming. Sometimes it can feel like a giant, okay? Like to be able to tackle this and to get control of it just is like this great big giant. And so basically today I wanted to break down sometimes understanding how things work and the why behind it can kind of help give us the motivation or even just the desire and the commitment to kind of stick with something. And so, none of us are perfect, you guys. There are times that we are going to fall off the wagon, so to speak. And, I always say, just get back on, that's what's most important. Too many times in life, people try to start a plan. They try to get healthy. They try to make the right choices. And then hunger hits or massive stress hits or whatever. And they fall off the wagon, maybe in the middle of the day at work. And they visit the vending machine or whatever it is, and they get something that they know they should not eat. And then they say, well, this day is, I lost the day. I did poorly. I'm just going to eat whatever I want the rest of the day and I'll start tomorrow. And let me tell you, that does not work, you guys. The best thing to do is to say, yep, I just messed up. No big deal. I'm going to get back with a plan right now, today. The very next thing I eat will be back with the plan. And so, this kind of a balancing act, if you will. If you, did mess up, then, do an extra great job the next meal of doing super, super well. But so what are some of the giants that sort of derail us or that kind of get in the way? One of the biggest ones at the top of the list is gluten. And, I know that there's some controversy over this. Some people say, yes, that everybody's got gluten sensitivity. Some people say, no, nobody, only people with celiac disease have gluten sensitivity. The reality is it's more of a continuum. And for some people, they are highly allergic to gluten. We call that celiac disease. And then for some people, they have just an extreme sensitivity to it. And it does cause harm. One of the things that we can say is that wheat, which is where we find gluten, wheat has changed dramatically in the US over, let's say, the last 50 years. Part of that has to do with farming practices and the fact that we hybridize the wheat. There's a great book out there called Wheat Belly. If you've not read that or seen that one, that's a good one on this whole topic. But basically, as we've hybridized the wheat, it has a higher and higher content of gluten in it. And gluten is a protein that many of us can't digest and that will cause problems in the GI system. And so what kind of problem does it cause? What does it do? Well, it does cause, the bloating. It can cause constipation. For some people, it causes diarrhea, belly aches. I mean, kind of you name it as far as GI symptoms go. It can definitely cause it, including like reflux, indigestion, acid indigestion, that sort of thing. But what's really going on is it's causing this intestinal inflammation. And when you get intestinal inflammation. Okay, so I kind of view it like road rash. And if you went running out through the parking lot and you slid, okay, you fell down, you slid, and you went sliding across the parking lot, you would have sort of a road rash all over your body, right? An abrasion. And so that's sort of what happens with gluten. When we're eating gluten and you are sensitive to it, you get this irritation, this chronic, inflammation along the lining of the GI system. And then that sets us up, of course, for indigestion, for reflux, for abdominal pain, other things like that. But more than that, it also sets the stage for massive malnutrition. So now, because I've got inflammation on the inside of my gut, I can't really absorb the nutrients that I'm putting in, the really good things. So I might be low in B12, for example. I could be low in some other nutrients. My body's just not able to use the fuel that I'm putting in because it's in this constant state of inflammation. That can continue on. Sometimes it can contribute to this whole concept of leaky gut, which is basically, we've covered that in a couple episodes back, where you just basically have a membrane, the lining of the GI system, that's just not functioning the way that it should. And things are kind of crossing through into the bloodstream that shouldn't. Think toxins, think things like that. And so that can cause a whole host of other problems, from autoimmune to, systemic infections, just a variety of other things. So gluten, again, not everybody's allergic to it. Not everybody's sensitive to it. But if you are, chances are you're probably having some of those symptoms that I talked about, whether it's bloating, belly pain, brain fog, those sort of things. If that's you, then a great recommendation, and as I go through the list of the giants in our diet, you might consider just eliminating those things. Do an elimination diet, get rid of the top offenders, and do it for a month. Okay, do it for 2 weeks at least. But basically, if you do it for, I always say if you do it for a month and then you add those things back in one at a time, you absolutely will know, is this the thing that's causing, my poor health? Is this the thing that's causing my belly pain? Is this the thing that makes me feel, horrible a lot of the times? So that's the reason that we kind of bring this, because there's a great, it's amazing how you can change this. Okay, so that's the cool thing, is that we do have some power. Okay, we can conquer these giants one at a time, right? So with the elimination, that really, really helps. And then as you add things back in, again, you'll know. So typically, if you've eliminated gluten, for example, for a month, and then you eat gluten, you will know it, because it is going to feel like you have a brick sitting in your stomach and you're not going to like it. And it usually happens pretty fast, like about 15 minutes after eating. So gluten is one. Dairy is another. Okay. And again, some people do perfectly fine with dairy. And then some people have this sensitivity. Every time they eat anything with dairy, they're running to the bathroom. They've got diarrhea, which is one of the more common things that dairy will cause. And, again, giving them issues. And then soy is in so many things. Soy is a giant to me, because it's in so many things that it's hard to identify it. A lot of times you might think you're eating clean, but there's soy in it. And so for the most part, soy is not going to be clean. It's typically genetically modified. It's sprayed. It's got, high glyphosate content in it. So in general, we usually will say, eliminate soy because of that. I will use coconut aminos, are a great replacement for soy. There's a really wonderful one that I get from Thrive Market that is, again, just coconut aminos, and it's a soy sauce alternative if that's something that you like for cooking. So those are three of the top things that we see getting in the way that truly are giants, because it's in everything. Gluten and soy, when you look at your, typical sauces and condiments and so forth, it's all in there. And so if at all possible, there are some great recipes, just, salad dressings that you can make yourself. And of course, today, you can find, as long as you know what you're looking for, you can find, for example, ketchup without, high fructose corn syrup or without gluten in it, right? You can find salad dressings without all of those horrible ingredients in there as well. But basically, just looking for those and knowing what to look for, what brands are good, and so forth, you'll do just fine with that. So, in addition to those three, we also have high fructose corn syrup. You guys have heard me talk about this so much. I think high fructose corn syrup absolutely should not be in the market. It's what is used to sweeten sodas. When you drive through that drive through and you get a sweet tea, or even a half sweet tea or whatever, that's what's in that high fructose corn syrup. Chances are, wouldn't surprise me that certain coffee drinks, the things that you see that come out at the green shamrock drink that was out last month, all those things like that are going to have high fructose corn syrup in them, and even pancake syrup that is high fructose corn syrup. So why is it so bad? It's so bad because your liver cannot metabolize it. It is your liver metabolizes it much in the same way that your liver metabolizes alcohol. And while a little bit might be okay, a lot is not. And that stuff is in everything. Processed foods, it's in so many things. So there's a tremendous consumption of high fructose corn syrup in the American diet, which has been banned in other countries. You're not going to see that in pop or soda. You're not going to see it in other products as well. The artificial ingredients, okay, that's a huge giant because let's face it, we're all busy. It can be really hard to make good choices when you're busy, when you're working, you're running kids, you've got extra activities, you've got just the standard lifestyle that we have. It can be, overwhelming to try to eat clean. So eating clean is absolutely possible, but you have to plan for it. You have to, show up prepared, so to speak. You have to know what you're going to take in your lunch for tomorrow, for example. You have to, I always prefer cooking at home more than eating out, because again, you have so much more control over what's in your food, and you don't have to worry about all those artificial ingredients. And then finally, we've got the two that I've talked about so much, sugar and carbs. Okay, sugar and carbs. Oh my goodness, sugar and carbs are such a giant for so many people. There is an episode that I did on a sugar detox. Sugar is so addictive, and our brain loves sugar, but you can switch that off and you can move from a sugar burner to more of a fat burner. Where you are using, less, you're not using sugar as fuel. When you're using sugar, pure, simple sugar or simple carbs as your fuel source, you've got a little bit of a yo-yo situation going on. You've got, vacillating blood sugar levels. You've got vacillating, insulin levels as well, and a lot of fatigue comes in with that. Okay, so a lot of fatigue, a lot of foggy thinking, etc., will happen when you have those items in the diet. So these are the things. I mean, there are lots of other giants that we could go into when you're looking at lifestyle medicine. From certain vices. Whether it is alcohol or smoking or whatever it may be. All of those things can again contribute to very 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 poor health. Moderation is key. Smoking, absolutely none whatsoever, because it is like it's just one of the worst things that you can do. Especially, looking at all of the studies that are out now, all of the information, everybody knows how bad that is. But we see it more and more, especially amongst younger kids. And, maybe they're not reading the label. Maybe they don't care. I don't know, but I know that they will eventually because it does contribute to so many vascular problems, to, coronary artery disease and so many other issues. And certainly in the time period of COVID, this even, makes it even worse. So again, overcoming the giants in your diet, okay? Getting rid of the things that are derailing you, that are causing problems, that are irritating the lining of your gut, that are giving you those stomach aches, that maybe is causing your constipation, maybe it's causing your diarrhea, it's probably giving you headaches, it's certainly giving you brain fog. These things are worth taking a look at. Okay, try an elimination. I just want to encourage you to try a 30-day elimination diet where you get rid of those top offending things and just see how you feel at the end. I believe you will be amazed at how much more clear your brain is and how much better you feel overall in terms of energy. So hopefully you'll give that a try with us and jump on the bandwagon, do a 30-day elimination. So thanks so much for joining me today. I hope this has been helpful for some of you, and have a great day. I hope you enjoyed that episode. For more information, visit me at deannaholdren.com. Find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Dr. Deanna Holdren. I really want to hear from you, so message me. I love taking your messages and creating topics from them. Please rate, review, subscribe, and share my show with those who have an interest in health and wellness. Thank you for tuning in, and see you next week.